Hello, everybody. My name is Wesley Campbell, and we are here for Conversions series. And we are in the Ministry of Shiloh Global, Wesley and Stacy Campbell, based out of the Healing Rooms Apostolic Center in the Santa Maria Valley. And today we have the most, again, I say it all the time, but this is over the top, amazing guest. You're going to hear from a Nepali-born mountain trekker, freedom fighter from Nepal today. But before we do, go ahead and take this opportunity, share this everywhere, share, and check out our website, wesleystacycampbell.com. And for a lot of stuff that you can find out about the ministry, Stacy has a mentorship program, so many other things. And as well, if you've missed any program and you're just hearing this almost for the first time, get the Shiloh Global app for your telephone and it said my internet connection was unstable. I hope it's not going to be acting up. But anyhow, you can download the Shiloh Global app and all the programs will be there. So go ahead, let's start. And I want to start by introducing, first of all, Liana 50. You are the founding director of WIN Global. And go ahead, tell us a tiny bit about yourself and then introduce our guest and how, we'll start with, then go right back into his life. Okay, so go ahead. Who are you, Liana? Where do you come
Hi, Wesley. Hi, Shiloh Global audience. Thank you so much, Wesley and Stacy, for having us on today. You guys are awesome. We're just so thankful for your partnership with WIN. Wesley, we've done amazing things together. I remember those Eyes and Wings conferences and just fantastic times. And you have stood behind a large portion of what we're doing in South Asia, rescuing kids out of trafficking, building schools, transforming lives. And Amar here is one of my sons in the Lord, and I'm just so proud to introduce him today. He has an amazing story. He is our Nepal coordinator and leading the work in that whole nation. And the Lord is raising him up as a true reformer for that nation. Just again, a little bit of what WIN is doing. We Ignite Nations is our organization, going into some of the darkest and most difficult parts of the world, bringing transformation and sustainable change into some of the most really difficult regions. Some of the areas we work, one of them is called the poisonous hub of sex trafficking in Asia. And that is totally a part of what Amar's going to be telling you about, because it's all that border area between Nepal and India that is one of the most toughest, one of the darkest places for children in regard to sex trafficking, child slavery, etc., as well as poverty. So we are involving in different aspects, ending poverty, ending child slavery, and bringing reformation. And Amar is the leader of all of that in Nepal, and we're just so proud and thankful for him. And so how
many workers do you have that you've gathered together? And he's one of the primary leaders. How many boots on the ground people, I call them, do you have functioning in these dark places?
We over 22 years of work in this region. We now have 30,000 leaders systematically established throughout the whole area. So every township, we have representation now where we can mobilize people into transforming their community.
That represents a people group of about 200 million, did you say?
200 million in one nation. If we look at the bigger spectrum, it's probably more like around 250 million.
250 million. That's amazing. And I'll just say this by way of introduction. So our guest, Amar, had met Liana just a few years ago, and that's when he began to work on learning his second language. So he's far more intelligent than I. My wife, Stacy, speaks French, German, English. And but the problem is, what I'm going to do is from time to time, I'm going to interrupt him and re-say some of his words. Why? Because he's going to be speaking to so many of us with so many different accents and cultures and England and Texas, etc. And I just want to esteem this man as, for his diligence in learning English, even as a mature adult. he began to, when he met Liana, they talked in Hindi, if you can believe it,
Yes.
not English. So go ahead, Amar, tell us, who are you? Where do you come from? And greet the people.
Hi, Wesley and Global Shiloh, and thank you very much for the today. And I'm very happy for being a part with these meetings. And I want to say thank you for viewers and especially Wesley, Liana, and Shiloh, and Namaste from Nepal.
Namaste.
Yeah.
Good. So
This is Amar Bista from Nepal.
okay. And when were you born, Omar?
I born in 1993,
1993.
August 25.
And how old are you now?
Now I'm 28. I'm running 28.
Wow.
And I don't know about my actual, date birth, because my mom's, even she didn't know, but those of my batchmates, we born in 1993.
Okay.
So,
And you come from what region of the world?
I come from Nepal, and we call one of the remote area from Jumla. I'm from the Karnali zone and Jumla district.
Okay.
And I am a village boy,
And that's near, is that in the Himalayan mountains?
Yeah, that's the Himalayas range. Himalayas,
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever been on Mount Everest, to the base camp of Mount Everest?
Yeah, I've been in base camp, but I've been in different mountains base camp, and I have one cousin brothers. I have a share of that business. We call like Himalayan technical tour and travels. And last 2018 he died to climb the Mount Everest. So our business is totally down. And so we are frustrated about that. Because it's difficult to the one person who is in your like a hate. I'm the part of the rescue, but he's and some of our team, they are the international trekking guides.
Wow.
They went Everest, they went different lots of mountains, and basically in our team we focused to climb the different new mountains, like 6,000 above.
The most difficult.
Very difficult.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the difficult one, to climb the new mountains, because you don't know which way is the good way, no route, nothing. So it's difficult to climb, and even we have lots of planning to climb the different mountain, when he died, and it's very difficult for us. But now we want to, in our teams, we have some of the teams, and we are planning to raise again.
Okay,
to climb
that's
the
awesome.
new peak,
Liana,
to promote the Nepal,
Liana.
Yes.
So they're reigniting their business now. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes.
It was one of his own relatives was the main leader of that trekking and was the one climbing the mountain. He died trying to, just like you had said earlier, trying to help the international group to climb up Everest. He fell and he died. Very tragic. But now we're rebuilding. He's rebuilding that
Okay.
business.
What's the name of this company they're rebuilding?
Himalayan technical.
Himalayan Technical. And you know what? We've got pictures of Amar, jumping in the sky, as it were, and you can't. It's just,
jumping in the sky in the mountains.
it's beautiful, beautiful. Well, let's go back. How were you born into a family that followed Jesus Christ, or what was the situation growing up for you? And just tell us about your life.
I born in Jumla, 1993. That's my mom said to me, because I didn't know the actual date, which date I born, So if you go and see the Nepal, like a Google map, one of the remote place in Nepal, that's I belong from that area. Remote means no electricity, no road, no food, like a difficult life, like even though we have a racism in Nepal, from my hometowns, like I'm from the village boy, even the village to came to city, they have a racism for us,
They
oh,
have
you don't
what?
get the
Seeing racism.
racism,
Okay.
oh, you don't get the proper food, like like they thinks we are from the jungle,
The
like we
jungle.
are the jungle human beings, like that,
Okay.
like it's really difficult for me. I remember that day, and my nation was in civil war.
I didn't understand that. Say it again.
My nation
Oh,
was in civil war,
your
so
nation.
there were bombs in a
Okay.
path,
You said, you're saying that your nation was in the midst of civil war and there
civil
were
war.
bombs coming. And who was it at war with?
Like this is like one of the civil teams, like a civil war against the Nepali king,
Okay.
and when I was in like 7 to 8 years old, it's happening, and my dad is working on Nepal telecom, means networking,
Say that
and
again.
my dad,
Yep.
he work in Nepal telecom,
Oh, telecom. Okay, got it.
Communications.
telecom communication, and his job is like a 37-meter height elevations. He's staying in there, for the tower. He's like a security guard,
Mhm.
like a bodyguard for the tower.
Wow.
Like
37 meters high in the air.
yeah,
Oh,
in my hometowns, and that time civil war team and also the against with the like Nepal government side army and civil war team have a fighting, and yeah,
Your sister got healed.
my sisters, she have very big sickness, my two sisters have very big sickness, we do lots of things, like we don't have a hospital, but in a village we have a faith, like like a Hindus, we go through the Hindus, we give the goat, sheep, chickens for the Hindus god, we do lots of option, and finally we don't have options, and there is one of the pastor, he is just from my house to his house like a 3 minutes walking, like, and we know that, like if you went to the church and if pastor prayed for you and you got healing, and finally like this is our last option, so even for I'm the Chetri, my caste is not for the Christian,
I
that's we
didn't
understand.
understand that. Say that part again. Leanna,
My
help me.
caste, like in my caste in Nepal, like we have a casteism,
Okay. Okay.
like my caste Chetri, accept to Christ means very difficult, very big things for,
Okay. So if your people come to Christ, it's bad.
yeah, it's bad because,
Okay.
we are the Hindus background, like our casteism is high, so
Okay.
it's difficult, and
There's persecution. You get persecuted.
yeah, persecution. And that time, like the civil war team, they don't believe any god, not a Buddhist, not Hinduism, not Christianism, and they destroyed the church also in that time. I remember that day, and so, and my sister, uh, they have like night house fellowship, they cannot sing a song, like a small fellowship they have,
Underground.
like underground,
Okay.
secret,
Church. Yeah.
because, and so that time, I'm the guy who is security for them, because in a street there is lots of bombs,
Yeah.
because my house is borderline, my house, after my house, you can reach in a city, so that's army have that time, everywhere is a curfew, army came to the visit, like a morning, evening, and so there is the civil war team, they put the bombs in a road, like we don't have a road, like narrow, we
Yeah.
have just narrow road,
In the trail.
yeah, trail, and we need to cross like that, there is the lining, they put the bombs, if you cross that line, the bomb will blast, so we need to take care of that. And my sister, they don't know how to read the Bible, even my pastor, he knows, and so I'm the guy who helped him to read the Bible in a night time,
How old were you?
I'm in 8 years.
8 years old.
Yeah, I'm
8 years old.
8 years old, I
You're reading out of a Nepali translation of the Bible.
Nepali translation. Yeah. And I remember that day when we went to schools, like, every day bomb blast, like, in my eyes, I saw lots of people killed, like army killed the civil war peoples, they killed in our face directly, if you do any mistakes, we'll kill you, like, every day. And when the bomb blast, we have a small decks, we put down in decks, like, we are scared, even though
Hiding underneath the desk.
hiding underneath the decks, like difficult in a
school.
year, where I'm from. In a year we have like Dasai, means one of the biggest festival for us. That's like a 1 month vacations, that is the day we change our dress. Whole year.
Whole year, yeah.
Yeah, whole
I
year.
understand, Leanna.
Only one time per year they would bathe and change their clothes.
Really?
Yeah, in a
This
year.
is tough life in the
That's-
mountains. Yeah.
This is my life, that's I'm from, So, and after that, the biggest problem for my dad, because he's working in a, Nepal telecom, and Nepal telecom is like a government property, and civil war is the team they are against with the, government. And the both side have everyday torture in my house, like, and I remember that day, like when I was 10-year-old, I remember that day, like night times, like civil war team came in my home, and they are asking for us to provide the food, and we can make the food for them, and
If you didn't provide the food,
and they'll kill us.
they will. Yeah.
They'll kill us, So they have some of the guns, some of the bomb blast, like a shotgun, and so it's difficult for me. And when they went after at dinner went, and second day morning the army came, and they inquiry for us, because of my dad is in a, like my dad is in a Nepal telecom government, organizations.
He works for the government, and so there's a higher level of expectation for them to be
So they're
loyal to the government.
They're caught in a sandwich play.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Then
we are in the middle,
accused-
and we need
yeah.
to pay every month taxes for the civil war. They are asking for the money every month. My dad get the, like his salary from the government office. Like that time I think maybe in salary like I think maybe 30, like I think maybe $13. His salary is $13 that time.
Equivalent of
Yeah.
USD $13.
$13,
month.
Per
Yeah,
month,
per
yeah.
month. And even we need to give all money for the civil war, if we are not giving, and they give the, like a lots of notice, like, every day. And one day I remember that they came in my home, 11, it's like midnight, and they start to beat my dad, and that day, like for us, it's like black day for our family, They beat my dad, head, knife, and lots of things, civil war team, because you open the telecom tower, so that's, army have a communication, so that's, they beat us, and they took whatever we have, like money, property, they took each and everything, and my dad have, after that, my dad have a sickness for headache problem, like a epilepsy, it's like epilepsy he have.
Yeah.
After that, like a
It
seizure.
was because of the beating he got a head injury, in other words, right?
And
Yeah.
they beat us, they are beating my dad, and my dad is running, and he went different house, and finally he saved, he saved. And this is the day, that day is changing me and my sister life, my one of the second sister life, and we choose our life for the war, not for the peace. We don't want a peace, because we saw my dad, how he's suffering, how, because he didn't do any mistakes, and they are ready to kill, but my dad is finally, he run away from that, and after that, every day, like they are coming, like my brothers, he's the elder, and and my sister, like every day, we send him like a different house, I also stay different house. Each and everyone also did.
Are they trying?
Hiding from the war.
Yeah,
right?
hiding from the war, and only the my house, there is a two people who lived. One is my grandfather. He cannot speak, he cannot listening, he's
Deaf.
only the guy deaf. He's only stay to house, my
I don't
mom.
understand, Leanna.
Go ahead, finish that sentence, Summer. I'm just seeing where you're going with that person, who that person
The
is.
grandfather who
My
grew up here.
grandfather,
Your grandfather, yeah.
yeah,
What was
he cannot speak, he cannot listen,
So what what's the point?
No, he is the guy only stay in my home.
The only one left in his home was his deaf and dumb grandfather, because everyone else was hiding from
Okay.
the
And the
insurgents.
grandfather is deaf and dumb? He cannot hear and he cannot
Grandfather
speak?
was deaf and dumb.
He cannot hear and he cannot speak? Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So just one clarifying question. He said after the beating on his father, he wanted to join the war. Is that correct?
Like, yeah, I decided, me and my sister, we decided to take the war, like we saw the, how difficult, we don't have options. Like, we have an ego hearts and we think those people who beat our dad and we are ready to kill them. That's our decision. That's our decision. But within 2 months, most of the people, those who are coming in my dad to beat, those like army killed them, after like 2 months, army, army.
Those insurgents that beat his father were then killed by the army.
Okay.
Yeah. Still one of the guy, he's alive, still one of the guy, he's alive, even when I saw him, like, my brothers, he cannot control, he is ready to kill him, my brothers, still now. But me, last years, I meet him, but I forgive him, like, so for me, difficult. But he always run away from my hometowns, like, my hometowns, everybody,
Okay.
they don't like him.
So-
So he always went to, like Qatar, Dubai, Malaysia for the work,
We probably move on now to what happened next in your life.
So the point of, he was also, did he also become a bomb detonator at that time?
Like, my sister, she is joining, but I am the very, like a very little boy, so I cannot join. But, but they give us the training, and I remember that day, like a civil war team.
Training to join the rebels.
Yeah,
Okay.
civil war team taking us in my whole school's boys to take the different village, like a different village, to training, they're training us, how
Training. They're
to,
training.
they are giving us training, and it's really difficult for us.
So they trained you in guns and they trained you in bombs. Is this true?
Yeah, that's time they're training us, they train us like a bombs, small bombs. We call sutali bomb, pressure cooker bomb, socket bomb, how to shoot and throw it, they teach
And how
us.
old are you at that?
That time I'm in 11 years old.
Okay.
I was in 11 years.
You
Okay.
were a child soldier.
Yeah, like,
He was classically, Wesley, I didn't realize he was a child soldier, we would call him today,
and after that, our government and the civil war have a peace,
Yes.
after they have a peace, and I went to join my like a good schools, even from my hometown to came in my school, like it will take 2 way, like 7 miles every day I need to walk,
To go to
And-
school.
yeah, to go to the
Are you
schools.
still in Jumla?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Jumla.
Mhm.
And the second thing is biggest problem for me because I have one of my younger brothers, we two, and one of the sister. We three of us. The biggest challenge for us we are from the village. Every day we need to physically fight more than 7 and 8 of the student from the city.
Okay, I didn't understand that.
So because they're from the village, were discriminated against.
Mhm.
So there was discrimination. So for them, going from the village they walked to the city, just 7 miles. They had to walk to go to school. But then they had to battle with the other students who are discriminated against. They would get into fights, in other words,
Okay, at the school.
over because
Like-
they are discriminated against them as village.
It's running like 3 years, 3 years running.
Yeah.
Like they have a groupism.
Gang.
Me,
There
no.
was a gang that
There is
would
a
come
gang,
against him, yeah.
like even the breakfast time also, even the snack time also, even the playing, whatever, like every day they torture for the money, they torture for the physically,
They what?
like physically torture.
They would try to beat Amar and his brother. They would
Like-
they would try to extract money from them.
Wow.
Every day they beat us. Every day. There is no day. Like, but when I said my dad, he didn't listening me, because, we didn't have option. My dad wants to, send me the good schools, even the teacher also, they have a discrimination for us because we are from the village. Teacher also, they love the city boy, like a city guy, like for my life, it's really difficult, and after that, uh, I think maybe 2068 means when I was 14 years old, and after that I leave the city schools, and I'm ready to join the village schools because I'm done, totally done about that because I didn't have options. Like I have two options: kill them, went to jail. Otherwise, leave the schools, go back your village schools. So that time my dad was not there. My dad was in Kathmandu for his medical, for his, like, he have a epilepsy problems, and so after that I cheat him and I joined the government school in my home, my area, village area, and after I passed the 10th standard, then after I came to Kathmandu.
How old were
Kathmandu,
you when you came to Kathmandu? How
like
old were you?
16. I was in 16 years old.
Okay. Why did you go to Kathmandu?
For the study, for the better study,
For what?
better study, for the education, good education,
Okay.
and so even the Kathmandu also for me biggest challenge. I remember that day when I went to join the one of the schools college, and there is the introduce, like introduce time, like where are you from, what is your name, what is your person, like introduction programs, and my turn, I said, oh, I'm from Jumla. Everybody is looking me like a very weird, and they said, what, like there is also the racism because they think Jumla people means, like in a media, even we have lots of people died of their diarrhea, like diarrhea, they have a problems because in our village we didn't have option in that time. I'm talking about last 12 years, 13 years ago, we didn't have a hospital,
No development. Yeah.
no
no
development,
sanitation,
like,
nothing there. Yeah.
even though we don't have airports, like if we are sick, we can use like whatever we have a medicine, like organic medicines we can use. Otherwise, we have two options to diet, so it's very difficult for me and to came to Kathmandu. And I remember my dad, how he is working hardly, even though he have a, like in that time, epilepsy means like a, different.
Epilepsy.
Epilepsy means different. In Nepal, the people think very bad, very bad. My dad is every day he is walking from the city for the office. Sometimes, he fall down in a, like, water park. He fall down in the road and nobody is ready to touch him because that's our faith. If anybody touch him,
meaning the Hinduism views him as being cursed by the gods because he has the epilepsy. And just like this Good Samaritan story, where the the religious people would not touch the man who had fallen in the road and had been mugged. Same thing in there, literally there.
Won't touch him.
No one would help him because he's unclean.
Okay, I understand. Now, Leanna, we've gone about 25 minutes, so we've only got 20 minutes more.
Yep.
Maybe you can coach in the story to where we need to go.
Right. Let's we'll tighten it up. Now let me tell you where to go now. Okay.
Yeah,
so let's tell how in your school, then your hostel warden, and how he forgave you, and that started how you started to understand Christ and the love of Christ. Okay. Yeah.
And when I stay in one of the Christian hostels.
Christian hostel, yeah.
Yeah, and I have one of the warden. I remember him. His name is Lazarus Tamang. Now he's a pastor. So after that, I joined the, like, what we call gangster. I joined the gangster. And I beat lots of people. Like everybody is dominate me. So I didn't have options. So after that, I start to physically fight. But now I am a reformer. Now I am a reformer, So even I beat my warden lots of time, but he gave me forgiveness every time. And he came to my bed and he said, Amar Bhai, I love you, like, I know it's my fault, but I need to say sorry to him. But he came in my bed and he said in next day, sorry, bhai. Now next day, let's begin new life, new day. Like He's the mentor for me.
How
You
many
know,
times did you beat him?
like more than 10 times, I think, maybe, like more than 10 times. Yeah, like, and we have another one, like, he's staying in here in US. He is trying to kick me out for that hostel, but my warden, he loved me very much, and he said no. Like the second one, he's a counselor. He want to kick me, but and that's my life
Good.
is
So
going
that's-
on. And
from
after that,
point you started to grow in Christ at that point.
yeah,
and
that
you
point,
started to-
that point,
yeah.
I started to grow. Like he is the guy who teach me the Bibles.
And that was, it was about 16 years old.
Yeah, I was in 16, 17 years, and 16, 17, 18, 19. I stay with him like 4 years, So I learned lots of things. And 2015, yeah, my heart is always for, like those people who don't have a voice.
Just in a second, when did he become a soccer superstar?
Oh, that's my, that's my,
Going on all that time.
like
yeah.
school times to, like school times in college times, I play for
How many years from what age to what age were you playing the soccer?
like I start to play like when I was in 10 years old, or in a village I started.
Okay.
But in a professionally I played 2013, 14.
At what age were you?
I think maybe I was in like 15, 16,
15,
17.
16, and then how many years did you play? Right up until we met,
like-
I think you were playing.
Still I am playing, but not that much, because I have a like
He
2014.
broke his leg 3 times in the same
2014,
place.
2014 is like for me, even that is the Black Day. I played for the one of the Christian organizations. They have a Christian tournaments, that times, they call lots of for the, biggest country. They came to there to play the soccer for the ministry, So I joined that team, and that is my leg was fractured, so
he broke his leg and
Le-
then
three times.
3 times in the same
3 times
place.
in the
so
same place.
You can't play professionally
and
anymore.
I can play professionally, but still now I play like a small leagues,
Yeah.
even the like a district league.
so
I play in
what-
the state league. I
quick
play in
question,
the state.
Let him stop.
quick question. So did Amar play on the national team of Nepal?
Yeah, I play in the like we call like 6 national league. I play in the 6th. Now it's 9th. I play in the 6th national league.
Okay.
That time. After that, my leg was fractured.
How many years were you playing in the National League?
No, that's the one of the biggest league. I played in only
How
one
many-
times.
oh,
One times.
One time you played.
Yeah,
for the
I play in a one
national
times, and after that, like a league is closed. Like a
I
league
see,
is
okay.
closed, and so that's my leg was fractured.
Oh,
I cannot
see.
play.
That was when you
and
played
so
and it
yeah,
got fractured. Oh,
like
no.
I
Okay.
play in like a different
Yeah.
club. I play in a different clubs. Even the last year also I played. Some those are giving me the money.
Mhm.
Still now I have a hunger for the football.
Okay, now take us, we got 15 minutes left. Take us to his burden to become a reformer.
Yeah. Okay.
2015 is my turning point. Okay, my life turning point. I was in a church. There is in Vineyard Church. There is one of the speaker. He's from, I don't know where his country. I think maybe Canada or somewhere US. He started to preach hallelujah, and that time earthquake. Like I feel Holy Spirit is there, because I saw the video in Facebook. Like we follow the bellygram, how he shoot out. I feel that, but when I see the outside building is fall down.
Oh, that was the earthquake
Like
time. Yeah.
earthquake time. I'm telling
I
you.
don't understand.
He 2000. He's explaining what happened when the earthquake came to Nepal.
Okay.
Okay, now let's make it. We're gonna make it really
Yeah.
short, Amar, because we got to get
Yeah.
through this in very short. So I'm gonna help you out here. So when the earthquake came, there were some of the pastors who really sacrificed for their own people, and Amar saw the love of Christ in them, and it made him start to realize, this is how I have to become like these pastors, like these people, to follow Christ and to serve my nation, right?
And,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
when at that time we raised a lot of money and you sent aid, because that was a terrible earthquake that happened in Nepal, correct?
Yeah, we
Yes.
at this point, Win was raising the funds, and I think Wesley and Stacy were a part of that too. And we were trying to find someone in Nepal who would go up these mountains on these broken roads that might fall into the river any moment. And our leaders from India discovered Amar, and he was crazy enough to get in the Jeep and go up the mountain to deliver the aid. That's where he became, shortly after that, he became our Nepal coordinator, and we began doing so many projects together.
Yes.
Wow. That's amazing. So, are you saying that they drive on roads that are almost like falling off a cliff?
Yes, I drive, if there is one miss, game is over. If I fall down from that road, I think I cannot find out my body also.
Wow.
So that's the difficult, like a one-way road, So yeah,
okay.
Some of the days I travels like non-stop, like 20 hours, 22 hours. That's my record. One motorbike, non-stop, So, and like, for my life, if I compare like a reformer, I'll give you just 1 minute,
Yeah.
Those days I have everything because I have my brothers, those are who are builders and everything, they gave me if I ask them to give me money, they will give me the money, everything. But they are not giving me the peace and love, they are not giving me the peace and love. When I serve the people, when I start to help the people, like, when they smile like little bit, I feel something here, like this is the biggest achievement for me. I feel that. And so that's why I'm totally crazy about, I'm totally mad about to serve the people.
Wow.
I don't care about what the situation is coming. I'm ready to take each and any challenge for my people, those who don't have a voice, those who are in a trafficking. I'm ready to take any challenge in my life. I'm ready. Like I know how I rescue the kids. That's my first experience. When I rescue the kids, biggest problem for me, even though, if the kids was died within a bus, I went to jail. Even I'm taking that risk in my life because I'm not thinking about tomorrow.
Let me just add this here, because I heard the story. So Leanna and Win and Be a Hero, which is our organization, we raised up finances to promote anti-trafficking teams. They had some tens of thousands of workers, and they're going into the villages and trying to bring anti-trafficking and reduce it. But the traffickers, as he said in the other program, were very, very smart. And so they tricked parents from his region to bring their children across the Indian border, and so that they would be then meeting them in India and thereby lying to the parents, promising the children's good future, et cetera, et cetera. When they found out about it back in the village somehow, so Amar said, I will go and rescue the children, but both sides wouldn't help him, the Nepali side and the Indian side. And they threatened that if he lost one child died, he would go to prison. So Amar, go ahead, quickly, go right into it there.
The one is the biggest things for that, last year's update in my hometowns, 550 kids are still missing in my hometowns, only in my hometown.
In fact, move your head that way. What you see behind us, this picture right here, is one of the main places where the trafficking is still happening, exactly in his home area.
And 550 children from his
still missing.
Wow.
Still missing in my hometowns. When I rescued 2018, after that, like lots of people are very smart about that. So most of the mountains area, I know lots of Christian organizations, lots of NGO those are working in a trafficking. I don't know where they are working. That's my questions. I don't know where they are going to working. I never heard about anything about that.
They're not. In other words, we don't see where they are working. Any outcomes. We hear everybody working, but we don't see people being rescued, and we don't see actual tangible outcomes from those organizations.
If you see,
how big was this village? Was this town?
My town is Jumla. If you see, my town, we have more than 5,000 of NGO and more than 1,000 of Christian NGO, but I don't know where they are. That's my questions. In my hometown is like Karnali means If you said I'm from Karnali, people think like, they think they look like that. Oh, they are from like that. That's and everybody wants to sponsor in my hometowns. Each and every organization are there, but I don't know. Still, where is even my
What
auntie?
population is his hometown? What's the population?
Like we have 70,000.
Wow.
Remember, one is my own auntie. She is my cousin. Okay, she have 3 children. Still, she have missing. One of the foreigner they took. I don't know where they are. Like still in my family.
Trafficking. Yeah.
Yeah, still in my family. I'm talking about this is like 2004. Yeah, she told me like 2004. Still, even my auntie, my family. When I rescue after I rescue for that 33
So-
kids, after it's changing our hometowns
let's
now.
let's say what about one of our visions. And so Wesley, what the anti-trafficking is one of the big things that WIN is doing in Nepal. We're doing water projects, we're providing water to whole villages, but one of the really strategic things that Amar's been sharing with me his vision, and I'm really excited about this.
Okay.
We need to write up a proposal on it. Here's what we want to do, and I'm going to say it in short way,
Yeah,
Amar, and
please.
then you can fill in anything
Please.
I miss.
Yeah.
I love this vision that Amar has cast. Most of the time, what we do is when we see that the education is not good for the children in a nation, or we see that there's trafficking going on, is the Christians will come in and create a new project, a school, which we have schools we've built. Okay, they'll build a Christian school and get kids to go into that. Or there'll be a special project over here, education center, and we do those too. But what Amar's vision is to serve the nation by going into the existing public school system and bringing anti-trafficking awareness, upgrading the education there. And so we actually come alongside of the nation and reform the public school system rather than just going and creating our own thing. This way, the nation receives the love of Christ. This way, we actually can reform on a much higher level, integrating with what is already there in the system.
Okay, let me just comment on that. So you're saying many of the NGOs create a new school because they want to bring their upgraded version. He wants to take a system that's not working well, and you might say has never worked well, and he wants to raise it, reform it into a structure that actually will accomplish its goals, educating children, awareness of anti-trafficking, et cetera, et cetera. Is this correct?
Even we have lots of missionary schools.
Yes.
Even in a city, but you need to pay the money. Now missionary school become a business school. We know that. In Nepal, we have lots of missionary schools, but you need to pay it. If you
and most people can't afford that.
In the village, 99% people, they cannot afford to send their children for the good schools. So, what I think, traffickers, they never find out the students, those who are talented, they never went to city area, but they are focused to reach on this area. Like those areas, they don't have education, they don't know anything about awareness program. So what I wanna do, I need to let's promote the government schools, because 99% students went to schools, but now in a government school, children, they don't want to go in a government school because they don't have a good, they don't have not the expense, not a black like a whiteboards, not of the technology systems, in the schools. So what I think, let helps them, promote them schools, let build the toilets, solar systems, computer desktops, to show them this is the how traffickers are coming. We want to show them the videos. Look here, trafficking means not a sex trafficking, labor trafficking. The dangerous trafficking is organ is one of the biggest danger trafficking. Like a child means just for organ. Sex trafficking means the lady 15 to 16, they take from the lady girls, they are for the sex trafficking. For the child, basically 80% of the child, they have organ trafficking. In India, very difficult, in Nepal. So the problem is, for me, it's really difficult to rescue the kids from the India. It's the biggest things, biggest achievement. I'm really thankful for God. He saved me. He showed me the way, and after that's life, my life now, how I become a reformer. That's the changing my life. Even I'm in here now. My physical is here, but my heart is still in there. Whole night, still now I'm helping my people in Nepal. Like, lots of people are asking me the food. Okay, I'm donate now also. Last year also I donate 10,000 K still mine. In Win team donate 12,000 K, 10,000 for my physically personal side. I donate.
Say it again. I didn't quite understand that. What
$10,000. $10,000 I donate myself last year's.
Wow.
You raised
Like
you
locally,
raised yeah.
like, because I always think about my people, because I love them. I'm ready to die for them, so that's I'm like, I want to change their better life.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the heart of a reformer, isn't it,
Yeah.
Wesley? Isn't
Totally
that's so inspiring to hear his commitment and is in alignment with the biblical way and the biblical
So here was an apostle Paul. No, not an apostle Paul. Here was a gangster, an abused mountain child, growing up in civil war and becoming full of hatred and anger. And someone showed you, Amar, the love of Christ. Is that right?
yes.
And your heart was changed. You beat him 10 times, and still he came and said, I forgive you and I love you. And your heart was changed. And now you are a champion for the oppressed, for the exploited, for the kidnapped. And you lead, Liana, how many districts does he lead in Nepal, and workers involved in this?
77 districts.
77.
All over the Nepal. All over the Nepal.
77 districts.
Yeah,
And
all over the Nepal.
in a district, how many towns are there in a district?
Each and every district, they have a town, like a city towns and block average.
How many towns per district?
Like 77 towns we have, like, this is the district headquarters in a town.
Okay, village. So
Like
the district is named after the one major town. How many villages might be in that district total?
I don't have that,
Yeah, we don't have that statistic.
We don't have that.
Yeah.
But wherever I went, I love to choose village, no city. I don't want to stay in a city. Let's go in a village. I just love to stay in a village.
And you're a mountain climber. You have created a trekking company, again, that's going to raise finance for your people and be a means of providing jobs. And you want to save your people. Liana, tell us, how can we give through WIN to help all these water projects and so many things that's happening right now that Amar is doing? How do we do that?
Thank you, Wesley. Yeah. Just go to, you see on the screen behind us, in fact, here, win.global is our website. Just go on our give link there, and you can choose to give to COVID relief, or you could just give to general fund. But everything that comes in there is going to be helping us to bring transformation to India, Nepal, in the really, really remote and unreached areas.
Yeah, I want to encourage you to do that. And so you've heard the conversion of Amar from child soldier to reformer, to Nepali reformer. And he's now made war on the dark side. Whatever is bringing oppression to his people, he's now the reformer. So God bless you, Amar. And you know what? I want you to just pray a short prayer for people who are listening, that they would meet Jesus the way you met Jesus.
Amen.
He's going to probably pray in Nepali. Can you pray a little bit in English and then the rest in Nepali?
Yeah, I love to pray in Nepali,
Okay, you pray
when
a
I
little,
pray,
a little bit in English.
No, that's
and
okay.
Short, not too long.
Just bless us in Nepali, Amar.
Okay.
Can I pray for?
You can pray not too long. Just,
Okay. प्रभु यीशु, हामी तपाईलाई धन्यवाद दिन्छौँ, विशेष गरी यो दिने समयको लागि हामी तपाईँको दास वेस्ली एन्ड प्रभुजी उहाँको मिनिस्ट्रीको लागि हामी धन्यवाद दिन्छौँ प्रभुजी। विशेष गरी हामी धन्यवाद दिन्छौँ जति पनि भ्युअर्सहरू हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ प्रभुजी, उहाँको जीवनमा तपाईँले नयाँ काम गर्नुभएको छ। उहाँहरूलाई प्रभु तपाईँले प्रशस्तभन्दा प्रशस्त आशिष दिनुहोस्। जसरी हरिणले खोलाको पानीको तृष्णा गर्दछ, हे प्रभु प्रभु परमेश्वर, जति पनि दासहरू हुन्छ उहाँहरूले तपाईँ प्रभु तृष्णा गर्ने हृदय प्रभु तपाईँले हालिदिनुहोस्। एक एकको जीवनमा प्रभु नयाँ काम गर्नुहोस्। हरेकलाई प्रभु आशिष अनुग्रह कृपा प्रभु तपाईँले दिनुहोस् अनि प्रार्थना गर्छौँ हामीलाई प्रेम गर्नुहुने प्यारो प्रभु येशूको उच्च अनि पवित्र नाममा, आमेन।
Amen. I must stop. Again, can I just say, Amar, we're so proud of you. We're so proud of you, and we love you, and we want to work with you for the rest of your life.
I love it. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Okay, goodbye, everybody. So that was Shiloh Global, and goodbye, Liana Sinquanta. And thank you all for listening. Again, get the Shiloh Global app and listen to all the other conversion stories. And we'll see you next time.
Okay.
Bye-bye. God bless you all.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to Conversions on the Shiloh Global Podcast. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to help us continue to make these great programs, we encourage you to donate at our website, wesleystacycampbell.com. Also, check out Stacy Campbell's Shiloh Company Prophetic Mentorship, where you too can be mentored in the prophetic by Stacy herself. Download our free Shiloh Global app, available on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. On the app, you can hear more programs not listed on the Charisma Podcast Network. Finally, if you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, rate, and review the show on iTunes, the Charisma Podcast Network, or wherever you listen to podcasts.